So we were talking about Atlético Madrid's march once the month began, and we said it would be make or break. At this point, it is much more break than make. They're out of the Champions League, a dramatic series with Real Madrid, losing to their bitter rivals in penalty kicks and in La Liga. A couple of adverse results, not only the loss to Barcelona, yes, they've played so many times in the Copa del Rey, but in La Liga as well. And then they they drew this weekend, which essentially puts their La Liga title hopes closer to 0%.
Yeah, look, it's been a big month, right, for this club. You showed the result. The Getafe one, I think, is the one that kills you a little bit. But when you look at it from the Copa del Rey standpoint, this is an opportunity, again, for Cholo Simeone against the side that is maybe a bit of a surprise this year, the way Barcelona's gone about their business, right? And when Hansi Flick came in, it was, what is it going to look like? They've been a little bit more direct, although they still have a little bit of that DNA because of the skill of the players that are in Barcelona. So they have that Barca DNA that we've seen over the last 15 years. Yeah. But Cholo Simeone, this game maybe makes or breaks the season here because this is their opportunity to potentially win something.
I want to ask you about the mental and physical demand that Cholo expects from his players and that you see them give in these types of games. How difficult is it to get over the hump when you give everything in these type of games, in high-profile games, at such a high intensity, but you lose to Real Madrid, you lose to Barcelona, and you just have to come back and do the same thing again? And we could be talking on Wednesday that Atleti's out of the Copa del Rey too. How difficult is it to get right back in it?
We see it with managers, right? Antonio Conte is one of those managers, demands all the time. And Jose Mourinho for years was one of those managers, kind of constantly on you. Now, this team is a little bit different because they've been scoring goals over the last 18 months. Just in their last 6 games, I think it's 3+ goals in 6 of their last 7 games in all comps. So they're a little bit different than the old 1-0 Atleti teams that we saw in the past. Although he still has players like Koke who's injured for this, but guys that still have that DNA. It takes somebody special to play for him, right? When they're breathing down your throat all the time. And generally you get tired at the end of the season, right? Because it's just constant wear and tear. You need moments like this that you have to get rejuvenated for and get up for. Copa del Rey semifinal, Barcelona. If you can't get up for that one, it's going to be difficult. This guy has his teams ready to go. But, Nico, for years, they have been fighting to be with Barcelona and with Real Madrid, right? That's been their battle, and it doesn't work out every year, although he does have 2 titles, and we'll take a look at these 2 lineups here. Yeah. His is a little bit different because, like I said, these days they score some goals.
Yeah, walking that fine line of devastation. Atlético Madrid hosting Barcelona. Imagine if they can't get it done. This is going to be their team with a couple of doubts. Perhaps Lenormand, who's been dealing with injury, out against Getafe, and throughout the whole season the theme has been that head injury for him. We'll see if it's either the Spanish center back or Jose Maria Jimenez. But in the middle of the field, this has become pretty standard for Atlético Madrid. Either Conor Gallagher or Samu Lino on the left, thinking of how you're going to stop Lamine Yamal and Jules Koundé. Conor Gallagher has shown you a little bit more defensive prowess than Samu Lino, and maybe doubling up on Lamine Yamal, or understanding that the right back for Barcelona can get forward. We'll see this Atlético Madrid side. They have to come up with some sort of result. But looking on the Barcelona side of things, Tony, this week has been huge for Barcelona with the sake of rotation, because a guy like Raphinha hasn't played the last 2 games for Barcelona. Let's remember that Barcelona had a league game that they had to make up against Osasuna on Thursday. And then Hansi Flick was thinking about the rotation this game, and then over the weekend he was thinking about rotation again because he has a Copa del Rey game, then another game against Betis this weekend, and then another game against Dortmund in the Champions League. It's 5 games in the span of about 15 days.
And he's doing it with a lot of young players. And then when you look up top with Lewandowski, he's doing it with an older player that he's got to manage, right? So you mentioned this has been very good on the right side for him. We know Yamal and what he can do and take players on. Koundé in leg one of this competition against Atleti was outstanding, right, in that game. Araujo's one of the question marks, right? He's just getting back to full fitness. Kubarsi, we saw the header that he scored here. Does he go there? The other Lopez now, with Olmo being out, I think that's the a big miss. Lopez clearly a guy that can play, but in the wing positions, this is where this team just, Raphinha has been nothing short of outstanding the entire season. Yamal, we know, world superstar. This is really important for so many reasons for them. Young team. We think some of us are betting that they're going to win the La Liga. If they put another trophy in the cabinet, if you can win 2 trophies, incredible. I look at it for, are they going to knock off a team that might be coming to an error in a few spots in Atleti? Oblak, there's rumors that he could be out the door. Griezmann, he's a guy that seemingly is out the door every week to some other club, and whether he's coming in, who knows, right? So this is an opportunity for, we'll call it a younger side, right, to knock off some of the old guard here. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Koundé, Yamal, Gallagher, Galan, that is the matchup on that side of the field.
Tone, in the midfield, Gavi has also been playing really well for Barcelona, so maybe it's Fermin in that position. But there has been significant rotation that has led me to believe, I'm trying to understand what Hansi Flick is thinking about for this game. How do you like a midfield of Frankie de Jong, Pedri, and Gavi?
Yeah, it gives you movement, right, in this position, although I think that he goes with Lopez based on what we saw a week ago. But if Gavi's in there, gives you, we know what Gavi can do. Get the ball at his feet, an Iniesta-like type player where he distributes to everyone, gets everybody involved in the game. I'm just amazed at what Hansi Flick, I don't know where you were. I wasn't necessarily sold when Hansi Flick was the manager. I said, kind of doesn't fit the DNA of Barcelona and what we know of Barcelona. But then you talk to people that cover La Liga, and they're looking at it and say, this is exactly what Barcelona needed. They needed to be a little bit more direct at times, but still have the DNA, as I mentioned, of the Barcelona teams that can keep the ball and kill you with 1,000 passes. So fun team to watch. There's no doubt about it. What a season they've had.
And then you add verticality into the mix. It's that Barcelona that you have to watch every weekend because of the way that they play football. And then finally, Real Madrid has got a game against Real Sociedad on Tuesday. What do you think about that?
Well, if you watched leg one, if you just took the names off the jersey, Sociedad was so good for 60 minutes in this game. They put Barcelona under pressure.
Real Madrid.
I'm sorry, Real Madrid. Sorry. It was a simple ball over the top that I believe was Endrick that ran onto the end of it. I can't remember who played the ball over the top, but you're thinking that was what Real Madrid depended on, right? Was this simple Route 1 football. But Sociedad, for years, people have said, look out for Sociedad. They're a team that loves to attack. They got a manager that knows the DNA of the club. He played there, won things there, has won as a manager as well there, won this competition as a manager. They were fun to watch. I don't think this game is as cut and dry as maybe some people think.
Yeah, maybe Real Madrid has their eyes somewhere else, but I'm still afraid for Real Sociedad. They don't have that superstar.
But that's not how they're built, right? They're not built.
But usually they had an Isak somewhere there, right? It feels like a lot of these guys are role players. Like, who's really going to take the baton and be like, I'm going to take it to Real Madrid? And I don't see that there's one specific guy right now.
And they got to go to the Bernabeu.
And you have to go to the Bernabeu. We'll see how committed Real Madrid is having a La Liga title race and Champions League to fight for on other fronts.